Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation, especially the censors who are very diligent in watching the community guidelines. We assure you at the New Health Conversation that the only thing that we ever share with our audience is actually medical proof published in medical journals that are in the public domain, so everybody on our podcast can see the medical proof. That way we don't make any claims, we don't need to make claims. Everything we talk about is backed by medical science and medical proof. So nothing we're giving is an opinion, and we don't make claims. It's all safe, and it's all been vetted by the top weight loss researchers, health in the entire world. So we always like to tell you that we do stay well within your community guidelines. So Mary Stewart and Aileen and JMO and Webb Walker, it's my world. Hello, everybody. So again, imagine waking up 20 pounds lighter in 30 days and keeping it off. And how would you feel? Also, this is proven in 10 newly published peer-reviewed human trial studies. It's been 40 years in the making. The researchers who created this have cracked the code for obesity and health. Now, you may not believe it, but if you believe in medical science, you probably want to pay attention. This is not your typical, this is live, it's not pre-recorded, it's not an infomercial, it's a medical podcast that we do on several times a day, because we want to make people aware of what's available. Now, if you think that your diet's going to work in the long run, we have medical evidence showing you that no diet has ever been proven to keep weight off long term, or almost every diet. And 2/3 of people who go on any diet gain back more weight than they lost. And that may be shocking to you, and you're all going to be following, the craziness that's out there in the marketplace. So, anyhow, Janet, hello, Janet Appleby, welcome. So we're just waiting for more people hopefully to come on so I can explain exactly how she did this. But imagine, Janet, waking up 20 pounds lighter. No, you didn't want to wake up 20 pounds lighter, I guess. Okay. LA woman, hello, welcome. That's not a fake. Imagine waking up 20 pounds lighter in just 30 days. It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories, and no one was allowed even to exercise. This is going to change everything you think you know about diets, nutrition, exercise. No one's stopping for that. Let's go to April. Hello, everybody. That is absolutely real. She really lost 60 pounds in 3 months with no exercise, and you can see she has no loose skin. Now, that may seem incredible to all of you users, 772, and Toko joined, and everybody else who's joining. Also, if you're coming on board, we're going to explain to you exactly how she did this. It is not a diet. It's not about counting calories. And there was no exercise allowed because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. This was developed by the top, not us, but the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. It's not a product. There are no products. It's based on food, some from the United States and the majority from around the world, from these areas in the world. They're called blue zones, where people are living to be 100 years old. So hopefully you want it. Hello, is this from medicine? Elsie. No, it's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. How about that? It's published now after 40 years of research, 100 studies, they've figured it out. And believe it or not, it's based on food and a completely new way of eating. And like I said, only about 30% of the food comes, say, from the United States. The other 70% comes from these exotic locations around the world. In some cases, these blue zones where people are living to be 100 years old. But imagine 60 pounds in 3 months, everybody. How does that sound to everybody? I know that sounds like it's crazy, but it's absolutely true. And she was not allowed to exercise. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. You notice no loose skin. I understand for most of you, this is you're coming on and jumping off because you don't think it's real, but 100% it's real, I will assure you. So Shelley and everybody else, I'm going to explain to you how did they do this, or how did she do this, I should say. How did they do that? So we have lots of people that are like looky-loos, just coming in, jumping off. That's the typical thing I get. But this is changing people's lives. And look at this young woman here, everybody. How about 21 pounds and 38 inches in just 30 days? Look at her stomach area. That's without any exercise. It's not a diet. This is not a diet. I don't know how much more I can get across to you that it's not a diet. So let's see. Who else would like to ask me a question? Elsie, she's already gone, I'm afraid. Okay. So who else would like to ask me a question about how in the world did she do this? How is this even possible? So let's see, who else we got on here? Mark C. joined. Hi, Mark. No, Marcy. Sorry, Marcy. I thought it was Mark. I wasn't reading my. Casey, hello. Would everybody like to know how in the world she did this? User 408, hello and welcome to you. Hello, Mary. It's Mary. Oh, okay. All right. It looked like Marcy, but it's Mary. Okay, I apologize. I hate mispronouncing people's names, okay? So let's talk about this protocol. First of all, it was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. There are no products, everybody. So there's not some like magic elixir pill I'm going to tell you about. No, it doesn't work like that. Here are the essentials. That diets are miserable failures. Did you know that 2/3 of people on any diet gain back more weight than they lost? I don't care if you're doing time-restricted eating or carnivore or paleo or keto or Mediterranean. There is no medical proof that any of these diets have ever worked long-term, evidenced by the fact they're saying within 4 years, 86% of America will be overweight or obese. Let me repeat that. Within 4 years, 86% of America will be overweight or obese. I want to know, Casey says. Mary, okay, I promise I'm going to tell you right now. So please be a little bit patient because this is not some simple thing because there's no products to buy. No, you're not going to buy any products, okay? You're going to buy food and you're going to learn a whole new way of eating and you get coached for free. Do you all see that above our head? Free coaching. That's not a joke. We got coached, you'll get coached for free, okay? And you don't buy anything from us. We don't have any products. This is food. So the researchers said after they had done 100 studies over 40 years, that's 4 decades, they never found a diet where people lost weight and were able to keep it off in the long run. And the long run is the only thing we all should care about, maintenance, right? In my case, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years, okay? Not that it matters, but I guess it does. So I'm not just some person. I'm a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books, did 20 shows on PBS, and over 1,500 live lectures around the world, including in hospitals and towns, universities, medical schools, etc. But I didn't invent this, okay? So here's what they did. The researchers said, after 40 years of research, counting calories never worked. We need something new. See, you're alive because of 3 things, and one of them is not calories. Air, water, and what, everybody? Nutrition. So the researchers said, if we're going to make this work, the key to all of this would be we need to make sure we give you enough nutrition. Forget the quantity of the food. You could have less food if it had more nutrition. Okay, that's what they set out to do. So they put together a grocery list that you all would get, literally 30%. Whatever you spent last month on groceries, take about 30% of that. That's all you're going to spend this month at your grocery store, but you're going to get a list, very specific list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. No calorie counting. No calorie counting at all. Don't want you counting calories. They give you serving sizes instead. So 30% of the food you're going to purchase, you buy directly from the grocery store. You buy nothing from us. You buy nothing from the researchers. The other 70% of the food you buy from other researchers who had gone around the world to these blue zones in some cases. You know, a blue zone is a place where people live to be 100 years old. And they found nutrients in places like Russia and Mongolia and Tibet and South America, New Zealand that represented huge amounts of nutrition, but very small amounts of food. So now they had the food you're going to eat. Now don't get panicky and think you're going to be hungry. Wait till I tell you what they found in this. Now remember, this is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. What does that mean? It means it's irrefutable medical evidence in the medical world. In other words, this is real. It's safe. I mean, it's crazy that she actually, not only did she lose 21 pounds at 38 inches in a month, she lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. Let me repeat that. That picture you're looking at, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle in a month with no exercise allowed. Now, so let's review real quickly. So 30% of what she consumed was a grocery list she got. She took it to the store, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. The other 70%, nothing from North America. It came from these exotic locations around the world, okay? Then they invented a new way of eating. So 5 days a week, she literally had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods around the world. That was her breakfast. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. You heard me. Not 2 meals a day, not 1 meal a day, 4 meals a day until you would lose the weight. That's 5 days a week. What about the other 2 days? Aha, the other 2 days a week, and don't spin out when I tell you this, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not this ridiculous time-restricted eating, which is a nonsense way. If you think you're going to lose weight on that and keep it off, you're living on a different planet. On those days, no food. So on the 48 hours, the intermittent nutritional fasting days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time she ate 8 times a day. Yep, she was eating every hour and a half. Well, in a month's time, when they did the analysis, number one, hunger came down 41%. But this is going to shock all of you. This is not a diet. You know what it is? A detox. Now, how can I say that? Because the research did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this was assisting the body in removing the chemicals we're storing inside of us. Did you all see the thing on plastics? They're finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. What else do they find in our body? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon stored in our fat cells. That's why you complain not just about how much weight you've all gained, but the amount of fat you have in your body. Again, look at her stomach on day 1. Look at her stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise, right? Now, so the number one reason to do this is detoxification. Number 2 reason, they measured inflammation for the first time ever. In case you didn't know, inflammation is the underlying cause of every disease out there. It came down 25% in a month. Now, it's not a claim. It's right in the peer-reviewed human trial studies, which right above our head there in blue, you can see it, the New Health Conversation, free medical website for you to go and see all the medical proof that I'm talking about. There's nothing to buy on that site. If you go there and you like what you see, you can scroll down. Yes, you get a free coach. It's not a gimmick. You get free coaching all the way through, not just a consultation, but all the way through. We got coached. There's no way that if you think you know how to do this, you don't, because no one has ever done what these researchers did. It took them 40 years and 100 studies, but let's keep going. So number 1, it's a detox. Number 2, it lowered inflammation. What else came down? Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all in 30 days. As a matter of fact, diabetics on this, the need for insulin came down 41%, and the diabetics who were monitored by their doctors, they had to cut their meds by 50% in just 30 days. I know it sounds like science fiction. See, you're all out there doing some form of counting calories. And what I say with all due respect, can anybody give me the medical definition of a calorie? Why in the hell are you counting calories when you don't even know what a calorie is? I didn't know what a calorie was 24 years ago. This is insanity, what we're doing. Do you really think the diet you're on is going to work long term, despite maybe you've lost 20 pounds, whatever? But 2/3 are going to end up weighing more than when you started. It's not an opinion on my part. That's what's going on. None of these diets are working. We're in a crisis. From 1995 to 2025, the obesity rates in the United States have doubled. Does that sound to you like your diet is working? But here's the third biggest reason to do this: maintenance. She lost that weight 8 or 9 years ago. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. Some of the participants in these studies, some of the studies were started back in 2012, 13 years ago. The people have kept the weight off for 13 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. It's not a diet. Get it out of your mind that it's a diet. It has nothing to do with counting calories, dieting. No, it doesn't work. But she's not the only one. Yeah, exactly, Mary. You got it right. Casey, did that make sense? So Mary, do you understand? Casey, do you understand that explanation I just went over, or do you want me to go over it again? Please put it in the chat so I know, because I'm not a mind reader and I want to support all of you. So, wow, we got 600 likes. Thank you very much. If you can keep tapping on that screen. Come on, everybody. I want to educate you. I get it, Casey. All right, so Casey and Loving Life and Mary. Mary, let me show all of you the website so you don't think I'm making things up, right? So notice this. I'm an R and I want to learn and help. Okay. Ania Murasu. I'm sorry if I mispronounced. Oh, did you? Oh, sorry, everybody. Let me go back to that. Hold on. Look at this, everybody. 35 pounds in 37 days. So, Anea, can you imagine patients being able to lose? Look at that. That's 7 pounds a week, give or take a few ounces, right? With no exercise. This is not a diet. I'm going to go over it again in a moment for you, Rachel, and also for Naya. But I want to make sure that everybody understands you can go. Here's the free website. It's called The New Health Conversation. Don't you think we need one, everybody? Now watch. Type in Google The New Health Conversation. There's the link, the New Health Conversation, and there's the website. There's nothing to buy on that website. The only thing there is the medical proof, including number one is an exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He and his team invented this. There are no products to buy. This is food, but a completely new way of eating. So hang on, everybody. I'm going to go over it one more time. But I want to make sure that everybody understands when you go to the website, we're not going to contact you. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down like it says right here. Notice above our head it says free coaching to ensure your success. The coaching is free. And Ania, my God, we can use more health professionals to help us coach the people that all want to do this, because obviously it's a worldwide crisis, okay? I am going to work. Mary, good. And Mary, do you have the website? I just want to make sure. Okay, so Ania and everybody else, let me explain again, how in the world did she do this? Now, look at this, everybody. That's 5 pounds a week, 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise allowed. They didn't allow them to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. So they made them wear Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Now, again, for all of you, this was not invented by me or my team. It was invented by the top they're rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the entire world, okay? What they had done was 100 studies over 40 years looking at every diet out there, and they never found a diet. I am a healthy coach. Great. Well, you're going to love this, so let me keep going, okay? So the researchers, they'd done 100 studies on every diet out there. After 40 years, they never found a diet that worked for people to keep weight off long term. As a matter of fact, 2/3 of people gained more weight than they lost. And Ania, you may know this, or Rachel, or any of the other people listening to me, I've struggled with my weight massively. Whispers. Okay, watch this, Whispers. Everybody, hold on. This is the daughter of a friend of mine. Whispers, wait till you see this. How about 60 pounds in 3 months, Whispers? 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. You're all coming at me so fast. Look, I want to explain it to all of you, okay? Just give me another few seconds. But Whispers, what do you think about that? Look at her face, arms. How much would that excite you to lose 5 pounds a week? That's what she averaged, everybody. Ania, is that crazy? And then look at this, everybody. This is going to blow all your minds. 200 pounds in a year. Look at her. Where's the loose skin? Is this just, I know it sounds like science fiction, but I'm going to explain the science. And we have, look right there, free coaching, but then also the website, the New Health Conversation. Only thing there is medical proof. And you get to decide if you like what you see, you get a free coach. You don't have to get a coach to see the medical proof. Let me be clear. So let me come back and explain to everybody again how she did this, right? So, yeah, unbelievable. I agree, Whispers, all right? So this is going to blow all your minds. The researchers said, we're abandoning calorie counting forever. As a matter of fact, can any of you, including you, Ania, give me the medical definition? What's a calorie? We've all been told to count calories. Why? The body has no idea what a calorie is. That's what the researchers said. This is ridiculous. This is insanity. Why are we telling people to count calories when the body has no idea what a calorie is? So what did they do? They said, we need to change things up. And the main thing, there's 3 things that keep us alive, everybody. Air, water, not calories, nutrition. The failing of all diets, I'm going to explain it to you right now from a medical perspective. When you go on a diet, you're reducing the quantity of food, ultimately, I don't care what it is. Or you're reducing, for example, like when you're doing carnivore, you're not getting any carbs, you're not getting any minerals, you're not getting the other things that you need. We do a carnivore version, but it's different than the typical carnivore that you're used to, right? So the researchers said, we're going to abandon calorie counting and concentrate on the only thing the body cares about, nutrition. So we're going to go find foods that have high levels of nutrition and still smaller quantities. It has nothing to do with the quantity of the food. It has to do with how much nutrition is in the food you're consuming. So they put a grocery list together. You literally, with Nia and everybody else, you'd take it to the grocery store. Developed by the researchers, proven by the research. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. No calorie counting, none, 0. They don't want you counting calories. Instead, you get serving sizes. But only 30% of the food you would buy on this, well, let me back up. Whatever you spent last month on food, take 30% of those dollars or yen or whatever you're spending it, you buy at your grocery store. Only 30%. The other 70%, here's what made it work. Doesn't come from North America, doesn't come from England, it came from these other researchers who'd gone to these exotic locations in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find these huge amounts of nutrition in small amounts of food. That's what made this work. But I didn't tell you the other part yet. Then they invented a new way of eating the food. Yes, They actually got a registered trademark with the U.S. Patent Office on this new way of eating called protein pacing. So what did she do? 5 days a week, they let her have 4 meals a day. You heard me. She started with these exotic foods. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. That's called protein pacing. 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, this is going to blow your minds. She did something called intermittent, never done before, intermittent nutritional fasting. Wow, what the heck is that? It's not fasting. It's not water fasting. It's not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But Ania and everybody else, she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half. Remember, it was totally based on nutrition. We had people who weighed 400 pounds. They weren't hungry because you've never been hungry for a calorie. Hell, most of you don't even know what a calorie is, and yet you're counting them, right? The point is that we teach you all this. We got taught. We were coached. So don't try to figure it out and say, well, what are the foods that you're not going to go to your grocery store and, well, you could get proteins, fats, but the thing you'd be missing also are the amounts. And what about the timing? What's the timing between breakfast and lunch then lunch and then dinner and your 4th meal? It's all laid out. The researchers actually put together for the patients in the studies. It's called the blueprint for success. Think of it like almost like a medical, like a nutritional prescription. The yellows you're seeing there are all daily videos from the researchers coaching you, telling you. Now, they don't sell anything. Why are they doing it? Because they spent 40 years of their lives, they wanted to crack the obesity code and health code, and they've done it. Look at her. Look at her, everybody. How many of you would give anything to lose 5 pounds a week? You don't know how to do it. The website, the New Health Conversation, right above her head, it's free for you to go there and see all the medical proof. And then, if you like what you see, you get a free coach. I know it sounds too good to be true. The thing I want to point out to you is, if you think that any diet you're on now is going to work, then you're flying in the face of the research. Let me just read you one big study. I've got a whole bunch of studies, but to save time, this is Medicare talking about diets, everyone. A brand new big study. Listen to this, Nia and everybody else. Medicare search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers at Medicare reviewed studies of the long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there is little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. That's Medicare telling you diets don't work. Why do you think these researchers abandoned, after 40 years and 100 studies, traditional calorie counting, carnivore, whatever it was? None of them ever worked. And you know it. My God, if you're still lucky enough to be on vacation, go to the beach. Look at America. Look around the world. I don't care if you're in England or South America. I don't care where you are. You've got 1 billion people worldwide clinically obese. What? Yeah, not just overweight. 2.5 billion are overweight, but of the 2.5 billion, 1 billion are clinically obese. And yet, what are we doing? A carnivore, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Paleo, Keto, Mediterranean, time restricted eating, water fasting, count your carbs, count your macros. It's all nonsense. Am I making sense, everybody? So, Ania, I want to make sure you understand you can go to that website right there for free, the New Health Conversation. We'd love to have more health professionals. I've got medical doctors, I got PAs, I got RNs, but we don't have enough. So many people are in desperate straits. Again, Casey, that's why you go to the website, look at the medical proof. The coaches, they'll give you the grocery list, and they'll show you how to order, but they're going to coach you for free. Part of coaching is say, okay, here's, you're not buying anything from the coaches. They're giving, because we all got coached. Let's see, who else? Unbelievable, burning energy. No, Whispers, that's not it. So tell us already. I just did. I guess, Mary, you toasted that before. So, Mary, do you understand? Did I explain it to you, all of you? I think I did. Am I losing my mind? Maybe I am. My mind is a terrible thing to lose. So we already have a nurse over there talking. She's an RN, saying that she agrees with you. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. But who else would like to ask me a question, or do you want me to go over it one more time? So, Whispers, do you understand what we're talking about here? Let me show you a couple more pictures that are pretty amazing. Now, you always have heard, now, Neil, wait till you see this. This is a 65-year-old man. This should not be possible. Wait till you see this. How about 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days, But Ania, look at his blood work. Look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242. They dropped to 124. In 30 days, Ania also, for the first time in history, they measured inflammation. It came down 25% in 30 days. And they've been able to maintain it. That picture's 8 or 9 years ago. He's kept the weight off. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. I mean, all of you, I understand. Yeah, Romeo whispers. Amazing. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. But he's not the only one. Let's look at some more medical proof. Look at this. How about 45 pounds and 60 inches in 30 days? His A1C, 7.9 to 6.2. But look at his bad cholesterol, 120 to 59. Ania, please. Comment. You're a medical professional. What do you think about those numbers? Is that crazy good? And then let's look at Christopher here, everybody. Almost 44 pounds in 40. But look at again at his A1C was actually pretty good, 5.3 to 4.9. But look at his triglycerides, 169 to 58. His bad cholesterol, 105 dropped to 68. Look at his blood pressure. 133 over 86 to 126 over 73. That's with no exercise. That's 30 days, everybody. 30 days. Look, I know I get really amped up and people, they even get mad at me and say, calm down. I'm not calming down. We have a crisis. I mean, Johns Hopkins Medical School, I have it right here. Study predicts obesity apocalypse. In 4 years, they're saying 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. And they're saying by 2048, in 23 years, 100% of American adults will become overweight or obese. What in the hell are we doing? Pardon my French, everybody. Does anyone think diets work? What diet would it be? Because it's never been studied. And here's the other sad part. Do you know one of the things people don't understand is that 2/3 of the weight that you're losing on a diet is your lean muscle mass. But I'm going to shock you. Lean muscle mass is not just your biceps. Let me tell you what lean muscle mass is. It's, for example, your skeletal muscle. It's your bones. It's your organs like your heart, your liver, your kidney, your brain, your blood cells. It's tendons, ligaments, cartilage. So when you're losing weight in an unhealthy way, which is what happens on there's no diet out there that's ever proven that 25 to 40% of the weight you're actually losing is lean muscle, but it's not your biceps. My God, it's all your organs. Do you think it's a good idea to shrink your heart, for example? Do you know when your waist expands, you know what happens, the reverse of your waist expanding? Your brain gets small, your brain shrinks. I'm not kidding you. Look, this is crazy what we're doing. Insanity. Whatever diet you're on, forget it. The medical proof is here. We know what's possible now. Let's see. Heinrich is the way to go. The conventional foods avoided high toxins and preservatives. Yeah, Ania, that's one other thing I want to point out to all of you. You know, one of the main reason to do this is not to lose weight, everybody. It's to detox your body. Here's a new medical syndrome, me and everybody else, called TDOS. The T is for toxins in our body. The D is the deficiency in our food, allows the toxins to accumulate, causing us to be overweight and stressed. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, who's that? Oh, I guess that's me. I did discover this syndrome. So, Ania, I'm in total thing. The problem is, Ania, where are you going to get this high nutrition? Unless you're going to go to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. These researchers did it for us. I mean, this is crazy. And then by being able to utilize, but only 30% of the food you would consume would come from your grocery store, wherever you live. But why wouldn't you want to take these nutrients from these blue zones where people live to be 100 years old? Can somebody tell me why they wouldn't want to do that? What, do you think you're going to do it with broccoli and spinach and Brussels sprouts and corn on the cob? No, you're not. Well, that's why only 30% of what you would consume on this you'd buy from your local grocery store. You get a list and you get serving sizes, not calorie counts. Ania, does that make sense? Ania, this is like nothing you've ever done before. That's why I encourage all of you, including you, Ania, go to the website, see the interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world who has no products to sell. They spent 40 years of their life for all of us to break the code. My God, it saved my life. Like I told everybody, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. How does that sound, everybody? Exactly, Ania. So, Ania, you clear at the website? I just want to make sure. Give me a yes if you can see the new health conversation right above her head there. That's where you go. And if you like what you see, Ania, because we're not going to contact anybody that goes to that website. You get to choose. You get to scroll down and you get a free coach if that's what you want to do. My weight massively fluctuating. Let me answer your question here. So you're saying okay, burning energy, amazing, creator. Who's saying something? Get 7%, I'm going. I thought I missed a comment. I'm very sorry. Burning energy, amazing. Okay, so whispers, are you clear? Is everybody clear? The website's right there in blue, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. I think also there you can see it again above our head, the New Health Conversation. But again, all of you, imagine waking up 20 pounds lighter in 30 days and keeping it off. How do you think you'd feel? Any of you, tell me, how would you feel if you could lose 5 pounds a week and keep it off and know you're making yourself healthy, not unhealthy, and you're detoxing your body? The main reason to do this is detoxification. The weight loss is that's like number 3 or 4 reason to do it. Energy goes through the moon. Mental fog goes away. People sleep better at night. Everything changes. There's no way you're getting, I don't care if you do organic all day long, you're not going to get this level of nutrition. It doesn't exist except in these really remote areas in the world, these blue zones. This is crazy good, crazy good. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe you all think I'm crazy, and that doesn't really matter. But again, can we get some more taps on the screen if you like? Well, I like what we're talking about here. So who else would like to know how they did this? So Ania, are you clear to go to the New Health Conversation? All of you can see that there. But again, look at this, everybody. She lost 200 pounds in a year and she's kept it off. No loose skin. She hadn't had surgery. This is real. That's not a fake. And it's backed up, and you got to understand, it'd be different if we were making a claim. But all of this is backed and published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. That's what I want to get across to you. None of these other diets, they're a joke. I mean, they're telling you that 2/3 of you are going to gain more weight than you lost on any diet. Not my opinion. So I've done plant-based detox. Okay, well then but this is even better than that, Ania, and we have the medical proof to back it up. But even the plant-based detox, it's not this. With all due respect, I'm telling you, it's the most unbelievable thing on the planet. Some leftover beef. Okay, so just made baked salmon and baked sweet potatoes for work. Mary, and breakfast, some leftover beef sausage, 1 egg, and some cheese. I love cheese. Well, I'm not telling you I didn't say anything bad about cheese, did I? But you got to understand that, look, I don't want to try to convince anybody. You either believe that there's something out there now that can change your life. But Mary, I don't even know, how much weight would you like to lose? And I'll give you an honest evaluation on how quickly you can lose it. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm a nutritional researcher. The only thing it tells you, I'm not just some person. I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. And we've been watching this, thousands and thousands and thousands of people transform their lives. It's not a diet. If you go on this to lose weight, you're on the wrong path. It's not about that. Please believe this. It works, I'm sure. Right. So, Ania, again, I keep asking you, does everybody understand there's the website, the New Health Conversation? That's where you can go to see all the medical proof. It's all right there. Whispers, I need to lose 100 pounds within a year. I want to lose 100 pounds, but I want to keep it off. Whispers, look at my friend's daughter. Whispers, 60 pounds in 3 months. 100, honestly, 100 pounds, you want me to tell you really what I think? I think 100 pounds you could probably lose. So let's say it's August, so let's go. Oh my gosh, by Christmas, easily down 100 pounds. Easily, probably by November even. No, I'm telling you that. But the other thing you have to understand, that I didn't even tell all of you that. 70% of the food you buy on this, which you don't buy from us, you buy from the researchers, 100% money back guarantee. I forgot to tell everybody that. Because if you go and get a coach that says 100% money back guarantee, but I want to be clear, 30% of the food you're going to purchase is from your grocery store. You get a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, but not calorie counts, serving sizes, 30%. The other 70% come from these exotic foods around the world, and those suppliers, they'll give you 100% of your money back in the first 30 days if it doesn't work. I know it sounds good to be true, but it's better than that. Who's doing that for you? When you go on keto, are they giving you a refund when it doesn't work? And it doesn't work. That's the whole point. Would anybody like to tell me a diet they think works? Because they don't work. Not my opinion. I mean, here's another big study. Why you shouldn't count calories. That's the title. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count and restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. Every study is saying the same thing. Medicare, my God, we've got, listen to this, Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories. This is Harvard Medical School telling you, listen, we've all been taught, this is Harvard Medical School, we've all been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500 and lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. They go on to say, Harvard Medical School, the idea of a calorie in, calorie out, when it comes to weight loss, is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did, and they have nothing to do with Harvard. My God, are you so skeptical for your own life, for your future? You could go to the website and see an interview with the #1 weight loss researcher in the world who created this, and they have no products to sell because there are no products to sell. It's food and a new way of eating. And it took them 40 years and 100 studies to figure it out. Great, Ania. So I hope you will go there and watch the interview with the #1 weight loss researcher in the world. Who else? I'll go look for your book. No, Mary, I don't want you buying my book. You don't have to buy my book. Go to the website. Seriously. There's nothing on that website to buy. The only thing there is the medical proof. So, Ramita, you wanted to lose 100 pounds. Sorry, I was talking to Whispers. So, is it Roy Mata? If I mispronounce your name, I apologize in advance. But seriously, what do you think about that, Roy Mata? Look at that, 60 pounds in 3 months. You could easily lose 5 pounds a week. I mean, so figure it out. You could, in 4 or 5, let's say 5 months at the most, you could lose 100 pounds. How much would that excite you? You too, Mary. Have a nice day. Whispers. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. I keep telling you, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. That's almost half of Ramia. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. I've kept it off for 23 years. 23 years. Does anyone really believe this is a diet? It's not. It's a detox. Who else would like me to explain what they did and how they did it and how this was even possible for her to achieve these amazing, amazing results? Hi, Lori. I'll go look for your book. Yes, please. We need it. Okay, so let me go back. Let's start with this one's a good one. Now, the reason that I like to show you this one first, she only had 30 pounds to lose, okay? She lost 21 pounds and 38.75 inches in a month with no exercise, lost no water weight, and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. Let me say it again, no exercise allowed. No, they made him wear Fitbits. Now, why didn't they want him to exercise? Because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Otherwise, you say, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with that, right? So, what the researchers said was, after 100 studies over 40 years, diets just don't, we never found a diet that worked, and 2/3 of people gained back more weight than they lost, and 25 to 40% of the weight you're losing on any diet is your lean muscle mass, which is so unbelievably healthy. Not only does it slow down your metabolism and why you gain all the weight back, it slows down your own immune system. So by going on a diet, you're making yourself unhealthy. But see, I didn't realize this also. Do you know your lean muscle mass, it's not your biceps that's part of it, but it's things like, how about this? How about your heart and your liver and your kidneys and your brain and your bones are all part of your lean muscle mass. See, lean muscle mass is really your fat. It's called your fat-free mass. So take your total weight, subtract the amount of fat you have, and what's left is your lean muscle mass. Distribute it from your brain, your heart, your kidney, your liver, yes, your biceps, etc. That's all, it's reduced by 25 or 40%. Do you think that's a good thing on any of these damn diets? I don't know how to make it more emphatic. That's the medical proof that you're making yourself unhealthy. I don't care if it's Atkins, Scarsdale, lose weight for your blood type, Cornish, Zone, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. None of them work long term, and you're all being fooled. You think any of you have produced this? How many of you ever lost 5 pounds in a week? Week after week, like my friend's daughter, she lost, look at this, 60 pounds in 3 months. That's 5 pounds a week for 3 straight months. That's what should matter to all of you. Wow, we got almost 2,000 likes. Come on, let's get some more taps on the screen. Hello, Lori. I'm saying hello. Where you purchased the needed shakes? They're not shakes. No. There's 6, there's 5. No, listen, Kim, you can go to the website. You can see it there in blue, the New Health Conversation. The only thing there is the medical proof. If you like what you see, scroll down. You get a free coach. The coach will give you your grocery list you buy from the grocery store and show you how to buy. There are 5 super nutrients that come from around the world. So number 1, don't make a judgment based on what you may think because you don't have complete information. We coach you for free. You get the grocery list. You even get what the patients, because it's not just what you're going to be eating. It's when you're eating, how much you're eating, what's the sequence, what's the timing in between. And that's why you get this blueprint for success, which all these yellows are daily videos of exactly what you do from the researchers. They don't sell anything. They don't have any product. There's no products to buy. It's food. Does that make sense, Kim? So again, I want to explain to everybody how in the world did they do this. What do you think about Mojano? Oh, let me tell you about. Okay, let's look at the research on the GLP-1s. It is, who's asking me that? Golcitos, okay? What do you think about Mounjaro? So again, everyone, I'm a researcher. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I'm not trying to impress you, but it's a fact. I wrote 4 best-selling books, 20 shows on PBS, 1,500 live lectures around the world. But I never give you an opinion. I only rely on medical proof. So let me explain to you Golcitos. This is the New England Journal of Medicine, considered the top medical, or one of them in the world. They did a 68-week study. I want all of you to listen to me. That's a year and 4 months on, in this case, semaglutide, which is the same or close to Mounjaro or Ozempic or Triepazide. They're all GLP-1s, right? 68 weeks, okay? Let me put this in perspective for you. After 68 weeks, I'm reading from the study, the weight loss was 32 pounds and 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. This is the New England Journal of Medicine telling you 40% of what they lost, and they only lost 32 pounds in 68 weeks. Hell, she lost 21 pounds in a month. And we're not against the shots. They're helping diabetics. They're helping people who are morbidly obese. But to try to compare these results to this, it's a joke. It's like a joke, and there's no side effects. And this is food. You're not taking any lotions, potions, pills, shots, etc. And we're not against the shots. If that's what you need to lose weight and help you, my gosh, go do it. But look at the difference in the results. This is published in the New England Journal of Medicine, for crying out loud. It's not my opinion. So does that help you, Golcitos? Yes, Jupiter, I'm going to tell you how she did it right now. Okay, so everybody just pay attention for the... Wow, Kim, thank you very much. I got a heart and whatever. And oh my gosh, we're almost at 2,000 likes. Got it. I watched the video where you explain the absorption of proteins in shakes. Great. But you understand it's more than just the shakes, okay? That's just, but wasn't that amazing about the absorption of the it's actually not absorption of protein, be careful. That's one thing, but the real key to that, Kim, was the utilization of those amino acids. So I just want to clarify that for you to make sure you understand that. Because if you that's where people are misled about in consuming protein, everybody. You hear, well, it's 95% that protein's absorbed. Well, that doesn't mean a damn thing to your body. Your body has to break down the protein into the amino acids. That's called utilization. To give you an idea, plant-based protein, the utilization of the aminos is about 15% out of 100. Steak, chicken, liver, fish is about 30%. This protein they're talking about here, the utilization of the aminos was 91%. That's how come she built lean muscle with no exercise, and why, Kim, they didn't allow her to exercise. Because they wanted to prove what would happen if you gave someone 91% of the amino acids. Well, one of those amino acids called leucine is how you make muscle. So it's not surprising that she was able to build muscle with no exercise. Does that make sense, Kim? So Jupiter, let me explain to you now what she did, what they all did, okay? So first of all, who invented it? The top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They had done 100 studies over 40 years to determine no diets work long term. That's how come we have 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, and 50% pre-diabetic as we sit here today. Worldwide, we have 1 billion people clinically obese. Does anybody think diets are working? This is insanity. Okay, so what the researchers said, We're going to abandon calorie counting. We're only going to concentrate on foods with high levels of nutrition and yet smaller quantities of food. So the concept was, we're going to give you less food, but we're going to pick foods with high levels of nutrition, which is the only thing your body cares about. It doesn't know what a calorie is. Why you're all counting calories, I have no damn idea. I've had 11 people in a year give me the medical definition of what a calorie is. I didn't know what calories were 24 years ago, so don't feel bad. So the researchers said, we're going to pick the foods. So take whatever you spent on groceries last month, and you're buying nothing from us. You're not buying it from these researchers. You're buying from your grocery store 30% of what you spent last month, but you're going to get serving sizes of what? Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, but only 30% of what you would spend and consume. The other 70%, you're going to buy from other researchers who had spent 20 years going around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food. So it's all based on nutritional density. So then what they did, based on that, they created a new way of eating. Yeah, and they actually got a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. So 5 days a week, you'd have 4 meals a day. You heard me. Starting with these exotic, the researchers call these foods, the nutrients that come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. So for example, unless you're on doctor prescription for low iron or calcium, you don't need any supplements moving forward. No, these foods contain massive amounts of nutrition as a food, okay? So then 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. It's called protein pacing, all right? So breakfast was the world's most perfect meal from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods from around the world. Then 2 days a week, she did something, don't spin out when I tell you this, intermittent, nutritional, notice the word nutritional, fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods, but this time, you and her, you're going to eat 8 times a day. Yep, you're going to eat about every hour and a half. Now, don't think you're preparing a meal, because most of these exotic nutrients, they're made as a tea, or you mix it with water, or you just take the nutrient itself. There's no lotions, potions, pills with this. This is what these people are doing. They'll live to be 100 years old. Do you know in the first month? Oh, the biggest reason to do this is not to lose weight. You know what the number one reason is? Detoxification. What? Yeah. Do you all know that we're storing chemicals inside our fat cells? And as we breathe and drink and eat these chemicals, the body takes the chemical and stuffs it in your fat cell. And that's why you all complain, not just about how much weight you've gained, but how much fat you have in your body. Look at her hips and stomach on day 1. Look at day 30. That's with no exercise. That's the detox, which they proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis that this was assisting the body in removing chemicals from the body. Medically proven, not in a theory. Okay? That's the number 2 reason to do this, what they proved. Inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every disease out there. It came down 25% in a month. No one's ever seen this before. So those little aches and pains and stiffness and all that stuff, most people saw tremendous amounts of relief, all right? Hunger, in a month's time, came down 40. We had people weighing 400 pounds. They weren't hungry. See, you've never been hungry for calories. But why you get hungry is lack of nutrition. It's that simple. And this is not about taking supplements, because that's different than the body processing the nutrients inside of a food. That's what nature intended. I know we like food because it tastes good, but the main reason to eat food is not for calories in or out, it's nutrition. And also, the big thing with this is maintenance. This picture's 8 or 9 years old. She's kept the weight up for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. By the way, no one was allowed to exercise. She lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. I know it sounds good to be true. And we have every single study out there. I'll show you something. You will think, well, here's a couple things that are important. Probably most of the women have heard of this. Women's World Magazine is the #1 women's magazine in the world. June 9th, 2025, this was the cover story of a mom and daughter. The daughter is 57 years old. She's a nurse. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who's 80, going to turn 81 in October, they started 3 years ago. The mom lost 104 pounds in a little over a year. They both kept it up for 3 years. And look at the title, Over 50 Protein Miracle. You think you get on the cover of the #1 women's magazine in the world if this is not real? See, what these scientists proved and what they have going for them, all of this is backed up and published in some of the biggest medical journals in the world. Now, you have to understand that that process, there's no argument with this. There's no like, let's have a discussion about losing weight is about calorie deficit. No, it's not. There's no research to support that. And the sad part is any of you going on any diet, you're going to lose weight, but 25 to 40% of the actual pounds you're losing, according to all the studies, is your lean muscle mass. What does that do? It slows down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back. But the worst part about you losing lean muscle, it affects your immune system. But your lean muscle is not just your biceps. It's things like your, how about your heart? How about your liver? How about your kidneys? How about your brain? How about tendons, ligaments, cartilage? And how about your bones? That's all part of what's called your fat-free mass. In layman's terms, what it means is you take the amount of fat you weigh in your body, subtract that, and what's left is what's called your active lean muscle mass. But it's not your muscles. It's way more than that. So you're shrinking. Oh my God, you're even shrinking your brain. Does that sound good? But that's what you're doing on these diets. And people are still telling you calories in, calories out. Really esteemed people, I see them on social media. Why aren't they showing you any medical proof of what they're claiming? Because there isn't any. And again, you all can do whatever you want. I see people jumping off all the time. Will this help with the kidney disease and protein absorption? Remember, Kim, it's not protein absorption. I want you to understand that. It is the utilization of the amino acids. And what happens is the higher utilization, the less amount of they're actually toxins, what aren't converted to amino acids from a protein, the kidneys have to get rid of. That's why people on kidney dialysis, they really limit the amount of protein that they're consuming. Again, we have to blow up the myth. It's not about how much protein you consume. It's about what is the utilization from that particular protein of the amino acids. Does that make sense to you, Kim? Okay, Jupiter, I have to go to work. Can you give me that? I do work. Okay, so do you see right above our head, Jupiter in blue, the New Health Conversation? You go to that website. The only thing there is the medical proof, and then scroll down and you get a free coach, and they'll go over everything with you for free. They're going to coach you the whole time for free. So Jupiter, let me know that you see right there in blue, everybody, the New Health Conversation. Does that make sense? That's the free website to go to see the medical proof, and then you get a free coach, and they'll explain everything to you for free the whole time. No gimmicks, no tricks. So Jupiter, does that make sense? Please give me a yes. I appreciate you clarifying that. Yes. So again, Jupiter, make sure you write it down, the New Health Conversation, or if you go to Google, look at this, the New Health Conversation. You just type it in Google. It'll go to the link. See, there's the link. Click on it. And there's the website, but nothing to buy, Jupiter, on that website. But number one is this exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss researcher in the world. And if you like what you see, scroll down, then you get a free coach. You don't need a coach to see the medical proof. We don't do it that way. We say, here's the medical proof. If you like it, then get a coach and they'll answer all your questions. I don't know how to be any fairer than that, Jupiter, for everybody, right? All right, excuse me. So let's come back. Now I want to show you all some other pictures. For example, this is a 65-year-old man, 40.8 pounds, 52.5 inches in 30 days. That's not the best part of his story. Look at his lab work. Look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. That's in 30 days. Look at his stomach, how much it went down with no exercise. And he's 65 years old. You know, you always heard when you get older, you can't lose weight. Says who? Who made up that rule? Well, on a regular diet, you're going to have a hell of a problem. You all know you struggle to lose a pound a week. Come on. He lost 10 pounds a week. Hello? Do we have your attention yet? Hello? Shh. This is real, and it's backed by 10. I've got them right here. Published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, proving this is safe, it's real, and everything I'm talking about is backed by medical proof. Not some advertisement, not some opinion that some influencers have given you. And with all due respect, I see medical doctors and chiropractors, dietitians, nutritionists, and fitness people, and health coaches, weight loss coaches. How come they're not showing you any medical proof? Did you ever ask yourself that question? No, you didn't question it. Oh, they're going to show you how to lose 20 pounds. But the 20 pounds you're losing is the most unhealthy weight you could ever lose, because you're basically losing what's called your fat-free mass, which is everything from your brain to your bones to your kidneys, your liver, your heart, and your muscles, your physical muscles. What are we doing, everybody? Does anyone really think diets work in the long run? Do you really believe that? Well, then you probably don't believe we landed on the moon. I don't know, or maybe the world's flat. You can't possibly support the premise We're looking down in 4 years, going to have 86% of Americans overweight or obese, and around the world, we have 2.5 billion with a B people overweight and 1 billion clinically obese, not just overweight, obese. This is a worldwide crisis. If we don't solve this, there's no way that there'll be enough money in the world to deal with, for example, the armies of people are going to become diabetics. And what do we keep doing? Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, Cornish, count your macros. It's silly, just silliness. It's silliness. It's just, I've got a big study here where they looked at all the big diets. This isn't my research. This is from the researchers. They did 12-month studies, 12 months. And here are the groups of diets that they analyzed. Thousands of people, right? Low-fat diets, low-carb diets, keto diets, carnivore diet, macro counting, and time-restricted eating, where you don't eat you fast for 16 hours and you eat for 8. Okay, so let me do one quick thing here. Okay, there we go. Okay, what were the results after 12 months? 12 months. The weight loss, the least amount of weight loss anybody lost in a year was 11 pounds. In a year, that's less than a pound a month. The most amount of weight loss anybody lost in a year was 16 pounds. But 25 to 40% of the weight they lost on any diet was lean muscle mass, including macro counting. Oh, that was great. After 12 months, macro counting netted 10 to 16 pounds in a year. In a year. You got it, everybody? I mean, it's just so silly. Keto was 13 to 16 pounds in a year. Carnivore was 10 pounds over 6 months. And 25 to 40% of what they lost, whether it was carnivore or what didn't matter, was lean muscle mass. You can do whatever you want to do. This is the research. This is the proof. Why do you think it is? Go to Target, go to Walmart, go to Kmart today. Look at America. It's a crisis. It's not about fat shaming. It's this reality. It's out of control. And what are we doing to control it? It's like there's a major forest fire. And at best, you're standing there with a garden hose. You think that's going to put the fire out? But that's what we're doing. We're counting calories. The body can't count a calorie. Can anybody tell me the medical definition of a calorie? Anybody? And keep tapping. We're at 2,800 likes. Come on, everybody. Can anybody give me the definition of a calorie? Why are you all counting calories? Yeah, this is unbelievable. I get it. Sorry, I got allergies this morning or something, I guess. Again, who would like to ask me a question? But again, if we look at even a guy like this, 34 pounds and 26 inches in a month. Look at his body. He shrank. But what shrank was the fat. He didn't lose it. See, don't let anybody tell you burn fat on a diet or exercise. It's not true. You're born with a certain number of fat cells. You die with a certain number of fat cells, and your fat cells can expand or contract. That's it. Look at that. That's with no exercise. Hello? 34 pounds in 29 days. That's more than a pound a day. You're struggling to lose a pound a week. Be honest. Please put in the chat. Tell me, what's your expectation? If you wanted to lose 20 pounds, any of you, how long would you give yourself on any diet before you found out about this, which we didn't invent? We have nothing to do with it. Hell, the researchers invented this. There's no products here. There's nothing to buy other than food and a new way of consuming food. But not food you're going to buy at only 30% of what you would buy on this, what he bought from his grocery store. He got a grocery list, not based on calories, based on serving sizes, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. The key to this was the other 70% of the food he consumed didn't come from your local area, whether you're in North America or Canada or Mexico or wherever it might be. They came from these exotic locations, in some cases, what are called blue zones, where people living to be 100 years old. And these other researchers had spent 20 years going to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find these foods with these huge amounts of nutrition, and some of the nutrients people living to be 100 years old were taking. That's what I want to take. I don't know about you. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off, for 23 years. Doesn't that sound like that would be something you might be interested in? What are you doing, everybody? What in the world are you doing? And why are you doing it? Because that's all we've ever been told is calories in, calories out. It doesn't work. Are you trying to tell me that any of you have... And the reason I like to use her picture, she only had 30 pounds to lose. She lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise, lost no water weight, and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. So what do you all think about that, right? Oh, we got lots of likes. We're at 3,500 likes now. Come on, everybody. Who wants to ask me a question? I'm waiting to hear. I'm here. This is live. It's not pre-recorded. It's not an infomercial. It's a medical podcast that we do 3 or 4, sometimes 5 times a day if my voice holds up. I'm just waiting for any of you to react. Would you like to know any of the new people coming on? Would you like to know how she did that if you haven't heard me explain it? But the key is that website in blue right above her head. In blue, you can see it, The New Health Conversation. That's where you can go and see the medical proof or not. Who else would like to find out about this? Anybody? Kim. Oh, thank you, Kim. Very nice of you to send me a heart. So I got a lot of people that are very, very... Hi, Brandy. Yes, I would. You'd like... Brandy, you're saying, yes, I'd like to know how she did it. Is that it? Please confirm. I would. Can. Okay. All right. All right. So let me explain to you. Now, listen. Be a little bit patient, okay? It's going to take me, I can't do it in 30 seconds. It'll take me a couple minutes. But I promise what I'm going to share with you could change the rest of your life. Now, if you think that's some advertising slogan, you're wrong. I'm a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books, some of the biggest medical doctors in the world, 20 shows on PBS, and 1,500 live lectures around the world. And we've got a lot of brilliant people out there. There's a new book now about longevity. And they say longevity, there are 3 things that are key. 8 hours of sleep, avoid ultra-processed food, and nutrition. Nice try, but the nutrition that's available to you in a typical grocery store anywhere in the world is nutritionally insufficient to do what this does. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. So the researchers who created it had done 100 studies over 40 years and they never found a diet where people could lose weight and keep it off long term. And if we don't solve that, all the other stuff goes out the window. So what the researchers said, we're going to abandon calorie counting. We're going to give you, instead, we're going to pick out foods. So 30%, whatever you spent last month on food, take 30%, you're going to spend it at the grocery store. You're buying directly from your grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of calorie amounts, they're going to give you serving sizes. Very important, because you're not hungry for calories. You're not hungry for quantity of food. You're only hungry. The only way you can be hungry is lack of nutrition. Period. That's it. You're not hungry because you don't have enough calories. You're hungry because you don't have enough nutrition. So the researchers said, we're going to find foods where we can give you a little bit less food, but it's going to have more nutrition. And that's why 30% of what you would consume is from your grocery store, because I don't care what part of the world you're in, our food is simply not sufficient to deal with this new toxic world we're living in, which we are. We're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals, and the body's taking those chemicals to protect us and stuffing them inside our fat cells. That's why you complain about not just how much weight you have, but how much fat you have. Look at her stomach on day 1. Look at her stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise, because this is a detox. It's not a diet. So let's keep going. So the researchers, 30% of what you would eat, you'd buy from your grocery store. You get a grocery list. The other 70% comes from these exotic regions around the world, in Russia, in Mongolia, in Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represent huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now she was going to have 30% of her food from the grocery store list that she got with serving sizes, and the other 70% from these exotic foods around the world. Then they invented a new way of eating. Yeah, you heard me. So 5 days a week, she did something called protein pacing, which is a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office now, of a new way of eating, where 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. You heard me. She started with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast, nothing from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world, until she lost all her weight. I know it sounds strange to you if you've been on a diet, because it's not based on calories. It's not based on quantity of food. It's based on how much nutrition we need. And they figured out how you spread it out would trigger the response in the body to normalize our weight. That's exactly what it was doing, but it was also detoxing the body. We'll get into that in just a moment. So 5 days a week, you're having 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, you're going to do something which she did. Now, this will throw all of you for a loop, called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting. not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time they let her eat, wait, ready for this, everybody? 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half. Now, don't get freaked out and think you're preparing 8.5 meals. No, it's not like a meal. Because a lot of these foods come, for example, you make it as a tea, or you mix it with water, or you just take the nutrient itself. But these are things that don't exist except in these really remote areas in the world. In some cases, what are called blue zones, where people live to be 100 years old. I want to put that stuff in my body. I don't know about you. So let's review. 30% of what she consumed came from the grocery store, from a grocery store list that you would get. The other 70% from these exotic foods, which you buy directly from them. You don't buy anything from us, and you don't buy anything from the researchers who created this, right? All right, so when they did the medical analysis, which they did blood, stool, urine, and fat. For example, the diabetics, nobody had an insulin spike, despite the fact they were eating every hour and a half or 2 hours. As a matter of fact, it was so powerful that the diabetics, in a month's time, they measured the amount of insulin that they required on day 1 versus day 30. It had gone down by 50% in a month. Sorry, 41%, I overstated, 41%, right? And the diabetics who were monitored by their doctors, almost all of them, the doctors did this, had to cut their medication by 50% in a month. So any of you that are diabetic or pre-diabetic, you might want to be paying attention. But the number one thing they did through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they proved that this is detoxing the body. And what did they find leaving the body? Herbicides, pesticides, and Scotchgard, and Teflon, and all these things, right? But we got the medical proof. Listen, this is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. There's no higher validation. So it's not an opinion on my part. People want to argue with me all the time and say, well, it's about calorie deficit. Where's your proof? There isn't any. And this is what's called irrefutable medical proof that it's safe. And it works. Look at her. That was with no exercise. She lost 21 pounds in a month. Look at her stomach. Look at how much it shrank. That's the detox. So number one reason to do this is detox. Number two thing, what did they find for the first time in history? Inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every disease. Every one of you have it, including me. It came down 25% in 30 days. This has never been seen before. No diet's ever done anything like this. But the third part that was even more important, maintenance. She's kept the weight off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. Hell, I lost 12 pounds in the first 9 days 23 years ago. And I've kept it off. But also my waist went from a 42 to a 34-inch waist in 2 weeks. I've kept it off. Most women on this lose a whole dress size in a week. Ladies, are you listening? Can you imagine with no exercise, a dress size in a week? Men, 2 to 4 inches off their waist in a week with no exercise. I mean, I'll show you. Look at this older gentleman. He lost 40 pounds in a month. Look at his waist. Look at that with no exercise in 30 days. You trying to tell me any diet or exercise program you've been on, you've got that going on? The main thing you're fighting is the skepticism, which is supported by the fact that so many of you said, I've tried everything, nothing worked. This is not a diet. If you think you're going on this to lose weight, then you missed it. And then I did a horrible job of explaining it to you. But you got one more backstop, and that is right here. You can go to, see even blue right above her head, everybody, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website to go to. There's nothing there to buy. We won't contact you if you go there. But if you go and you like what you see, notice right above, free coaching. Guess how much the coaching is, everybody? $0. Guess how much the consultation is? $0. Guess how much the coaching is? $0. Because I get people who put in the chat, how much is the free coaching? It's like, oh my gosh. Are we that skeptical? We got coached. This saved my life 23 years ago. We got medical doctors and RNs and physicians assistants volunteering their time to help people, to teach them how to do this. We're in a crisis. I mean, Johns Hopkins Medical School. I've got it here somewhere. Let me find it. Oh yeah, here it is. Johns Hopkins Medical School predicts within 4 years, 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. And in 23 years, they project all American adults will become overweight or obese. Does that sound to you like we're going down the right path? That's Johns Hopkins Medical School. That's not me saying that. What delusion are we living under? The keto, paleo, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, carnivore, count your macros, carb recycling. None of it works. None of it works. Evidenced by the fact, can anybody show me a influencer on any social media platform with one shred of medical evidence? Oh, I'm happy. I mean, I can't know everything, right? And I don't know everything, of course. But I know this, and I know what the results are. Hi, Abby B. Hello, Brandy. So Ken and Brandy and everybody else, did you understand when I explained this? Who would like to ask me? I want to make sure that you Abby or Diane or any of you heard me explain exactly how in the world did she lose 5 pounds a week with no exercise and kept it off for 9 years and still going strong. So who else would like to ask? Wow, we're at 3,800 likes. Can we get some more taps on that screen? We're almost at 4,000 likes. I know we can blow through 4,000. That's not a problem. I'm going to keep going. I've been... Oh, I did not hear Tina. Okay, I'm going to explain it to you. Tina, can I ask you a question? You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but you just came on. No worries. It's fine, Tina. How much, if you don't mind, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? And how much do you think you should weigh or you'd like to weigh? If you want to share that with me, and I'll give you a realistic explanation of how quickly and rapidly, not only can you lose the weight, but how you can keep it off. That's what I'm about to explain here in just a second. I always ask people that because I want to give you realistic expectations from a medical perspective. We don't give you opinions. We give you medical proof. And of course, nothing's 100% as you can imagine, right? Okay, well, I'm waiting for you to do that. Then I'm going to explain to everybody again how, okay, 165 foot. Okay, so what if I told you, Tina, how excited would you be if in the first 4 days you lose 5 to 8 pounds? How excited would you be the first week you lose at least 10 pounds, at least 10? So, yeah, very. Okay, so just imagine. Well, look at her. She lost 21 pounds in 30 days. There you go. There's your goal right there. All right. You know, the good news is you're taller. Okay, and I'm going to tell you that the 145, when you talk, if you do decide to do it, you get a free coach. They're going to probably tell you you can blow through 145 with no problem. But easily 20 pounds in a month, Tina, how much would that excite you? So let's talk about how did they do it. So Tina, first of all, this was invented by the top weight loss, nutrition physiologists in the world who had conducted 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people on every diet out there, and they came to the conclusion no diet ever worked and kept weight off long term. And that's evidenced by all the medical proof we have now, because right now, they're saying within 4 years, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese, and 50% of those will be pre-diabetic. So I think anybody arguing that the diets we're using now work, this is not a diet. So the very first thing, Tina, you're going to abandon calorie counting forever. Because here's the point. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. Why we've been told to count calories is the dumbest thing we ever came up with as human beings. It's nonsense. The researchers said we're going to concentrate on the only thing the body cares about. I'm sorry, there were 3 things that keep you alive: air, water, and not calories, nutrition. So their focus was, we're going to go find foods where we believe we can find foods where we can give you less quantity of food, but with more nutrition. Because the only way you can ever be hungry, Tina, is from nutrition, not from lack of calories. Okay, get that. I want to get that point across. So what the researchers did was this. So Tina, take whatever you spent on groceries last month, take about 30% of those dollars. You're going to get a grocery list that the researchers put together of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables that are based on serving sizes, nothing to do with calories, okay? But only 30% of your food budget from last month you're going to spend at the grocery store. The other 70% will all but pay for, the key to this, were other researchers who had for 20 years gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition but small quantities of food. Some of it came from these blue zones, Tina, where people are living to be 100 years old. So now they had the food groups. Now here was the part that also made it work. They created new ways of eating, which were based on what? Not quantity of food, not calorie counting, but on nutrition. So 5 days a week, they let her have 4 meals a day. You would do the same thing. You'd start with these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from your grocery store list, dinner from your grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, okay? Unheard of, and you have to have 4 meals a day until you lose the weight, okay? So that was 5 days a week. 2 days a week, she did something, don't get spun out when I tell you this, called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world, but this time you're going to have them 8 times a day. And don't think it's like you're cooking and making a meal. It doesn't work like that. These are nutrients. You're going to make them as a tea, or maybe mix them with water, or maybe just take the nutrients themselves, okay? And that's what she did. So 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day, and 2 days a week, she had 8 meals a day. The meals look different to you because you're thinking about You don't need so much of a knife and fork on those 2 days. You just don't, okay? So what did they find? First of all, there were tons of diabetics on this. No one had insulin spikes. Not that you're a diabetic, but that's very important to diabetics. So in a month's time, and here's the main reason to do this, Tina, the weight loss is like a throw-in. The number one reason to do this is detoxification, because they measured blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this was assisting the body in removing the chemicals that you and me are storing inside of our fat cells, specifically what's called your visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. And I don't know about you, Tina, but most people complain to us that whether it's 20 pounds or 50 pounds or 100 pounds, it's not just the weight, it's the amount of fat they have in the body. And see, you can't lose fat cells unless you do a liposuction or surgery. So your fat cells on a diet or on exercise, well, over your lifetime, you have the same number of fat cells you're born with, pretty much you die with, and they expand or contract, period. See, this is the misconception that people have, that somehow you can go to the gym and ride the bike and burn fat. Total nonsense, impossible, doesn't work, right? But they proved here that she, for example, not only did she lose any lean muscle mass, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle and was not allowed to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. They actually wear Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Does that make sense, Tina? That's why this is so incredible, right? All right, so what were the other things that they found with the medical analysis? Well, as I said, through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they proved that this was removing chemicals from the body. Toxins, they're called, right? The other thing that was so amazing about this, inflammation, which plagues all of us, Tina, it came down 25% in 30 days. No diets ever produced anything like this. And the third component, most important part, is maintenance. She lost the weight 8 or 9 years ago. She kept it off for 8 or 9 years. Tina, where do you see this? This is my friend's daughter. 60 pounds in 3 months. 5 pounds a week for 3 straight months. But look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. No loose skin. This is not a diet. And she was not allowed to exercise. And she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. That's my friend's daughter. What can I tell you? I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. Or look at this. This makes me so happy. This lady, 200 pounds in a year, Tina, 200 pounds. Where's the loose skin? No surgery? Look at that. Can you imagine? You only want to lose, I shouldn't say only, you want to lose 20 pounds. But Tina, so imagine by, let's just say what's today? Today's well. Can you imagine by the middle of September, you could be down 20 pounds? How much would that get you excited going into the fall and into the whatever? But also, Tina, understand you can keep it off. That's the whole key to this. That's why, guess what it's called? R2M. You know what that stands for, Tina? Race to maintenance. Now, Tina, what you can do, see right above her head there in blue, the New Health Conversation. It's a free medical website. If you go there, we won't contact you. Now, why wouldn't we contact you? Because we don't need to bother you. You either believe in science or you don't. And if you like what you see, notice free coaching. Scroll down, you get a free coach. Oh, also, Tina, it'll say on there, if you go and get a coach, 100% money back guaranteed. Let me clarify that. 30% of the food you're going to purchase from the grocery store, or 30% of what you spent last month at the grocery store, obviously they're not going to give you a refund. But the other 70% of the money you're spending from these researchers in the first 30 days, if this doesn't work, they'll give you all your money back. Can you do that with keto or paleo or Mediterranean or carnivore? Of course not. And nothing's 100%, and I would never say that it is. But it's so rare. You think she wants a refund? You think that, look at Julie. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days. And I'm probably being conservative when I tell you you can lose 20 pounds in a month. You might do it in a couple weeks. I know it sounds unbelievable to you, Tina, but isn't it exciting? Are you excited to go to the website? But Tina, we're not going to, if you go there, we're not going to contact you. Let me show you the website, Tina. Go to Google, anybody, type in the New Health Conversation. And you'll see it'll take you to the link in Google. Hold on. Okay, the New Health, look, there's the New Health Conversation. Click on it, Tina. There's the website. Nothing on that website to buy, but number one is an exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He and his team created this. They don't sell anything. They don't have a company. They don't have any products. They're scientists. We want everybody to see the medical proof first. Then if you like what you see, scroll down, and then you can get a free coach. For example, they'll give you the grocery list you take to the grocery store. So coaching's all free. They're not charging for the grocery list. And then they'll show you how to buy directly from, you're buying directly from the researchers who provided these other foods to the studies. That's why it's so affordable. There's no middleman. You can't buy this stuff at your store. I know it sounds good. And it's 100% money back guarantee on 70% of what you're going to spend. Show me any diet out there where they'll do that for you. See, even with the shot, not only are you paying for the shot, but then you got to buy food. And we're not against the shots. They're helping diabetics and people morbidly obese. But compared to the results of this, it's silly. It's silly. Okay, great. I'm going to check it out when I get mail out. I'm at work waiting on mail truck. Thank you. Okay, Tina, but you do understand where to go there at the New Health Conversation. That's the one thing I want to make sure that you're clear. Who else would like to ask me a question? Hello, Lori. Hello, Azonka, I think that is. Who else would like to ask me? So, Ania, you're right. But we need people overeat because the body is sick. Ania, I'm telling you, this is, we really, really could use people like you. We really could. Because there's only so many, I mean, now the demand is so much greater than what we can facilitate. And we're not letting anybody do this that doesn't get coached because, again, how you do it is as important as what you're going to be eating. So this isn't like, oh, here's a recipe and then you're on your own. No. That's why we got coached. We all got coached. Okay, I screenshot all the web info. Great. Good morning, Peter. It was great to hear your expertise this weekend at the conference. Mom Star Nation. Oh, that's so kind of you to say that. Wow. So I'm just curious, if you don't mind, what was something that did you just join the podcast just this moment, or have you been on for a little while? I'm just curious. And how did you find out about my podcast anyway? I'm glad you're here. That's great. You and your coaches are amazing for those watching. I released over 100 pounds. Wow, wow, wow. So she's saying I released over 100 pounds. That's pretty good. And more importantly, Mom Star, how's it been? Have you been able to keep it off? That's the most important thing to all of us. So the coaches were very helpful to you. I don't know this person, everybody, so don't think this is like a plant. I'm having to come on to give us a testimonial. I have no idea she was going to come on at all. I was attending your conference this weekend. It was your program. Okay, great. Great, great, great. So, yes, I've kept it off. Wow. Mom Star, she lost 100 pounds, everybody. She's kept it off for 10 years. How's that sound? Sound pretty good? And so, Mom Star, did you just come on, or did you hear some of what I was explaining? So, who else would like to ask me a question? I'm delighted. We have somebody on who's lost 100 pounds and kept it off for 10 years. Hopefully that would pique your ears up, everybody, right? Just like my friend's daughter. Now, she didn't lose 100 pounds, but she lost 60 pounds in 3 months. And she's kept it off for about 9 years now, not quite 10. But that's so wonderful. That's just absolutely thrilling that that's even happening to people out there. So of the new people coming on right now, and we're at 3,800 likes. Come on, everybody. Let's tap on that screen and get to 4,000. Come on. I know we can do it. 3,800. I've been on for an hour and 22 minutes. I know we can do better than that because I know we have in the past, unless I'm not on my game this morning or something. Maybe I sucked this morning. I don't know. Look at this. She released 53 pounds in 3 months. Again, look, she's proven. So she did about what my friend's daughter did. That is so amazing, Mom Star Nation. That is just wonderful. Listen, this is a real person on here. I don't know her. I mean, hello, everybody. Ania, are you listening to this? Are you listening to her? 100 pounds and she's kept it off for 10 years. Doesn't it excite you as an RN? You imagine the number of patients you could impact, Ania, if you're still with us? I hope you are. I mean, as a medical person, honestly, Ania, if you are, please comment. What do you think about this? Assuming we're not lying to you, which we're not, or we didn't Photoshop it, which we didn't. It's real. Susie, you just go to okay, Susie, watch. Type in the New Health Conversation. You're going to see it right there in a moment. And it'll take you to the link. I want you to see what's on the website, okay? There's the link, the New Health Conversation, okay? You type it in Google. There's the website, and the only thing on there is the medical proof. I'll walk you through. Number one is an exclusive podcast with the #1 weight loss researcher in the world. Number two is a much more detailed explanation of what you do day by day. Number three, the most important part of the peer-reviewed human trial studies that are published in the biggest medical journals in the world. You get to see them. And then number four, there are more before and afters. Some people losing 100 pounds with no loose skin at all. And it's all there to. Now, if you like what you see, Susie, you scroll down, you get a free coach. No gimmicks. The coaching is 100% free. We all got coached. And this Mom Star was saying that the coaches were very important. They helped her because no one's ever done, including us. We had never done anything like this before. So it's a question of what you're going to eat, serving sizes, when you're going to eat, what the timing is. It's all laid out, and you're not an experiment. I mean, you just tell me. The reason I like this, she only had 30 pounds to lose. She loses 21 pounds in just 30 days. That's 70% of what she wanted to lose. She lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. You tell me, with no exercise allowed and no loose skin. Yeah, look, Mom starts saying no loose skin. He doesn't know me. I just know his system and have heard him speak and read his books. Well, that's great. I sold some books. Thank you very much. Ania, though, is this crazy? What do you think about these stories and these pictures? Because I hope now I've gained your trust that they're real. And when we're talking about an older guy like this, everybody, 40 pounds in a month, and 52.5 inches. Look at his stomach. That's with no exercise. And look at his blood work. Ania, do you agree? A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides 242 to 124. We've got an RN on another platform, everybody. You can't see her comments. I'm just reading them to you just to keep her engaged. Hallelujah. I love it. Oh my gosh. Sounds amazing. I know, Susie. And Susie, are you clear on the website that you can go to? Now, Susie, were you on long enough to hear me talk about what they actually did? Because it'd take me, 3-4 minutes to go over it. I'm happy to do it if you didn't hear it the first time. I just normally wait for a few more people to get on so I don't have to repeat it so many times to save my voice. So let me know, Susie, did you hear or did you not? Look, so she says right here, it took me 14 months to lose 108 pounds. But still, everybody, look at that. But listen, she's kept it off for 10 years. That's what should matter to you. How great is that, right? Yeah, Ania, you're saying, this is an RN talking about these results. I don't know her, never met her. I had no idea she was coming on. That's why this podcast is for the world. It's all about the medical proof, the medical information. Who else, anybody on, Ania, have you seen anybody on social media with one shred of medical proof about what they're claiming? Have you? You're an RN, not me. I mean, really? Any of you, have you ever seen anybody? So Susie, again, did you get a chance to hear what they did, what they ate, how they did it, et cetera, because I'm happy to go over it. I'm going to in a minute or two anyway, because we keep getting new people. We're at 3,900 likes, everybody. Come on, let's get some more taps to get to at least 4,000. So Susie, I'm just curious. If you want me to go over it, I will. Or you can wait a couple minutes and I'll go over it again anyway, because we have new people coming on all the time. I don't know what is USDO 40. I wonder what that is. I'm so new. I'm a researcher, and thank goodness TikTok has been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me because of the fact that I'd done 1,500 live lectures around the world, not to impress you. But when COVID hit, that all stopped. And thank goodness for TikTok where I've been able to spread this. Yeah. I want to be one of the health coaches. Okay, well, Ania, go and look at the medical proof and then get with one of our coaches and they can explain everything to you, including how you could help them to coach other people. Does that sound good? So Susie, again, I'm just wondering, did you hear me explain it or not? Now, any of the new people that just came on, do you want to know how she lost 5 pounds a week with no exercise allowed? They were Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. I know it sounds good to be true, but it's actually better than that. So who else would like to ask me how in the world did they do this? So somebody else just came on, but I don't see them. Huh. So Mom Star Nation, what part of the country are you from? And if you don't mind, who was your coach, if you remember? I'm just curious. Nita. How? Okay, Nita. All right, great. I'm going to explain it to you. All right, so first of all, Naida. Sorry, I didn't mean to mispronounce your name. So let's start with the basic premise. Number one, it was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They're rated number one. They had done 100 studies on human beings over 40 years, and they never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off. And the main reason with that, they said the biggest fallacy of all these diets, they got you counting calories. Well, guess who can't count calories? Your body. The only thing the reason we're alive, it has nothing to do with calories. It has to do with three things: air, water, and nutrition. So the researchers said, we're going to abandon calorie counting. We're going to create a new protocol where the researchers are going to pick the foods for one, they had to have one quality, high levels of nutrition. So they gave her a grocery list she took to her grocery store. But let's say whatever total amount of money she or you would spend in a month, only 30% of those that money would go to the grocery store to buy the proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables that the researchers gave you, not calorie amounts, serving sizes. Does that make sense, Naida? That's one of the premises, right? So 30% of the food you would consume on this, it comes from your grocery store. But here was the key: the other 70% of the money left would go to buy these exotic foods that come from other researchers who had spent 20 years going around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food. So now they had the foods that she was going to eat or you'd eat if you do this program. So they started out 5 days a week until she lost her weight. She had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. That was breakfast, nothing from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. You got it? So 5 days a week, you'd be having 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she and you would be doing something, don't flip out when I tell you this, called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, my earphones keep falling out. This time, you'd be eating 8 times a day. You'd literally be eating every hour and a half to 2 hours. In a month's time, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. They proved the number one thing this is, it's not a diet, it's a detox. And through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they proved this was removing chemicals from the body that our bodies are storing in our fat cells. That's why people complain not just how much weight they've gained, but how much fat they have in their body, because the body, to protect us, is taking the chemical and stuffing it inside our visceral fat, and those fat cells expand or contract. If you notice her waist, that's with no exercise allowed. Most women lose a whole dress size in the first 7 days. Can you imagine that, Nada? Can you even fathom it? A dress size in a week with no exercise. Now, it wasn't the research against exercise, but they wanted to eliminate it. So the first thing they proved through the blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, this was removing chemicals from the body. That's why she shrank. Number two thing they found, that this also lowered inflammation. We all suffer from inflammation. It came down 25% in a month. No diets ever removed any inflammation from the body. Number three, hunger. Came down 41% in a month. Remember, you're not hungry for calories. You're hungry for nutrition. And the only reason you ever get hungry, Nada, is the brain is signaling to you, we need more fuel. The fuel for the body is nutrition. It's not calories. The body has no idea what a calorie is. I can tell you this. I didn't know what calories were 24 years ago, and I've had 11 people in a year give me the actual medical definition of a calorie, and yet you're all counting calories for what? It's the most ridiculous thing anybody ever came up with, right? The next thing that they found was that this is maintenance. This picture is 8 or 9 years old. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. So it's not just a matter of losing the weight. It's about being able to keep it off. I lost 40 pounds or 20 kilos in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. This is not a diet. It's a detox. Now, what's maintenance look like? Because that's the whole key. Maintenance is simple. Every morning, like this morning, my breakfast was these exotic foods around the world. I'll have lunch today, I'll have dinner later tonight, and then maybe every couple months I do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast, not to lose weight anymore, but to assist my body in helping get rid of the chemicals that I'm not going to get rid of all of them ever, because they continue inbound. We're breathing them, we're drinking them, we're eating them. Did you all see the study? They're now finding microplastics in our brains and in our coronary arteries. Do you think maybe we need, because this is not a diet, it's a detox. But imagine, look at that. 38 inches from her neck to her ankle. Look at her stomach. Look at that, everybody, with no exercise. Now, if you want to exercise, of course you can exercise. I'll show you a couple of pictures. I'll show you some pictures here in just a moment of people who exercise. These people didn't exercise. Let me show you a couple more pictures real quickly here. So this is my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her waist area. That's not photoshopped, it's the same woman. And then this is a 65-year-old man. How about 40 pounds and 52 inches in a month? In a month, that's 10 pounds a week. But look at his blood work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides 242 to 124 in 30 days. So Nada, it's making sense. Now Nada, the other thing I want to show you is, see in blue above her head? Do you see that, Nada, the New Health Conversation? Or all of you? That's the free medical website to go to. If you go there, we won't contact you. Why do we need to? There's the medical proof. If you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach. The other thing I didn't even tell you, Nada, so 30% of the food you're buying from the grocery store, they're not going to give you a money-back guarantee. But these researchers, the 70% that you would buy, if it doesn't work, 100% money-back guarantee, no questions asked, because nothing is 100%. But it's so rare. Do you think that she wants a refund after losing 21 pounds in 30 days? I don't think so. I know it sounds good to be true, but it's better than that. It's the only system in the world, Nada. It's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So it's safe. Everything I'm saying is backed up medically, and you get to see all that on the medical website. And then you decide. If you like what you see, scroll down and get a coach. Nada, does that sound fair? Or any of you? Does that sound, oh, good, we're at 4,200 likes now. Now we're starting to cook with gas here. So I'm going to have to end this in about 4 or 5 minutes. So one last time, does anybody just coming on now would like me to explain it to? I can do it in about 5 minutes or less. But the main thing is, if you go to that website, the medical proof is all there, better than I can. I don't want you to believe me. I'm the researcher of the researchers. But we're bringing you this research to show you what's possible. So who else would like to find out how in the world did she do that? But again, even if you don't have time right now, just write down the New Health Conversation and go there and look at the medical proof. Wow, we're at 4,200 likes. That's wonderful, everybody. So who else would like to ask me a question? We got 4,300 likes, so we must be doing something right, correct? And again, I would say this to you with all due respect. Can any of you show me any other, well, I'm not sure that I see anybody else doing podcasts on, at least on TikTok, except for me, because we're giving you medical proof. And I've already been on for almost an hour and 40 minutes because there's a lot of people that want to know about this. So who else would like to ask me a question before I close this out here now in, say, 3 or 4 minutes? Any of the new people? Wow, we're at 4,500 likes. A lot of people are tapping on the screen, liking this content, apparently. So who else would like to ask me a question before I wrap this up? Okay, so to let you know also today, let's see, I'll be back, let's see, 9-ish, 9:30. I'll come back and do another live probably around 11:30 Eastern Standard Time today. So in about, what's that, 4 hours from now. No, not 4 hours. That's 2 hours from now. You got my math wrong. Sorry about that. So who else would like to ask me a question? Also, remember, you can refer any of your friends to that website. It's free for the world to see. You don't have to be on my podcast to see them, but we want as many people as possible to find out about this. You know, I'm doing as many live podcasts as I can that my voice will hold up. But the need is so fantastic. And, you know, to have, you know, the total number of people over the course of an hour and, you know, maybe a couple hundred people. Some people come on for 10 seconds. Some people last longer. They're on and off. And I know part of it's skepticism. When they see that, they think it's fake or that we made it up, but we didn't make up anything. So that's what makes it so cool. So Nita, again, I'm happy that you get to go and see the medical proof, the New Health Conversation, okay? All right, everybody, I'm going to end this live podcast. I'll be back on again around 11:30 Eastern Standard Time today. It's August 12th, 2025, so you know it's real. Thanks all of you for attending and being here with me, and Mom and Star, I was very skeptical before I ordered. It does work. Thank you very much for that. Bye, everybody.